Thank you for joining me today. I'm here with Fawn Weaver, CEO and co-founder of Uncle Nearest Whiskey. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Ashley.
So start by telling me a little bit about yourself and your background. How did you get started with Uncle Nearest, and what led to that point?
Yeah, well, the two questions are completely different. They're completely separate. So my background is I've been an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur for, oh my gosh, let's see, I'm about to turn 44. So I've been a serial entrepreneur for about 26 years now. But what led me to Uncle Nearest was not a normal path. It wasn't a normal business path. So ordinarily, when I am looking at something, I'm looking at it from a business standpoint, but I'm also a New York Times bestselling author, USA Today bestselling author. When I looked at the story as Nearest Green, it was as a movie, as a book, which my earlier video call right before you was with the heads of two feature film production and film studios about the movie. And so that is how I looked at it. But as time progressed, what became very clear is entertainment is entertainment, and entertainment is great. And that is a great way for people to learn who Nearest Green is. But if you think about Hidden Figures, a movie that I absolutely love, and a couple of months later, I could not tell you who Taraji P. Henson and Octavia Spencer and Janelle Monáe were playing. That's a problem, but it is entertainment. And so what became clear is the way that the legacy of Nearest Green was going to be cemented for generations to come was absolutely positively not going to be through a movie and a film. That will live with us in this generation. But the only reason we're still talking about Johnny Walker and Jack Daniel and Jim Beam is because we're still drinking their juice.
Yes, delicious juice. I have my bottle of Uncle Nearest here.
Nice. Oh, you got the 1884. Yes.
It's delicious. So what about Uncle Nearest's story spoke to you? Like what made you want to dive deeper into that?
Well, I think when you're talking about American brands, well-known American brands around the world, there are not very many that we can point to and definitively say an African American was at the start of that. We have some where oral history was passed down and you have a group of people who believe it, but we don't have anything that's been definitively proven. And so the opportunity to actually be able to prove one of these stories out is just remarkable. And how the hell it landed in my hands, I could not tell you, but I'm grateful because it is something I wake up very passionate about every single morning. I'm talking press literally all day long. One after the, I literally got off a press call. I was on with a station in Knoxville like 3 minutes ago. And I go from one to the next. And the opportunity in my lifetime to be able to cement this man's legacy, I think is extraordinary. And I think most people don't ever get a chance to go through life with a purpose that big. And so I'm having a blast.
That's amazing. And, to shoulder that responsibility and welcome that, I think is great. I mean, like you said, it's such a big legacy. How do you?
I got big shoulders. I'm good.
I'm good. So you did your research on Uncle Nearest and his family. It started out as a movie and a book, but now we sort of shifted into the whiskey. How long did it take from a conception until you had your first whiskey bottle in hand?
We debuted in July of 2017. I didn't know the story existed until the end of June 2016.
Wow.
If that gives you an idea. And so we moved very quickly, but a part of us moving so quickly is at that time, they're now a $30 billion company, but at the time they were $24 billion market cap. But you had a $24 billion company in which could or may not respond well because we shared a history, but we are not connected from a business standpoint. There was no way to know how they would respond. And so we worked lights out every single day because our thought process was, this man, he deserves his own legacy, his own bottle, his own brand, but a lot of brands never even make it to the marketplace before they get toppled by a big guy. And so our whole thing was, listen, if somebody's going to topple us, it's going to be a loud ass thud. And so that was our approach. That is how we approached it. For us, it was just, we're independent, we're newbies coming into this, and we didn't know whether or not we were going to have headwinds. And so it was really important that we just literally head down and just burrowed. And we moved as quickly as we possibly could to get this done. The irony of all of it is we were moving at such a fast pace from day one that now we just celebrated our 3-year anniversary on July 19th, and we're still pedal to the metal, because I think that it's so ingrained in the culture of our company now that we would all feel odd if we slowed down.
Yeah.
So when we keep moving, when people look at our growth, and I get text messages all the time going, Fawns, slow down. And like, I don't even know what that is, what that means. I've been at the same pace for 20 something years and I'm not tired. So why would I slow down? So yeah.
And it's interesting you bring that up, because that brings me to my next question, and I'm going to read this so I get it all straight. Uncle Nearest is the world's first major spirits brand to be led by an African-American woman, the first major brand with an all-female leadership team, the first with an all-minority board, and the fastest growing independent whiskey brand in the United States history.
Yep.
I mean,
that's all right. That's all correct.
Do you feel any pressure by that?
No.
As a
Nobody
woman?
expected us to do any, as a woman, nobody expected us to do it as a Black woman, as a woman. No one expected anybody to do what we're doing right now. I don't care if I was blue. So no, I have no pressure being a Black woman that's any different from what any other person, any other entrepreneur who is out there and is starting something from scratch without the backing of a big guy. That just, everybody's going to have that same struggle. So no, I don't feel any additional pressure.
Is the goal to always keep Uncle Nearest independently owned, or and pass it down to future generations, or
Yeah, the goal is for Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey to remain independent, and for the next generation to take the baton and to continue this on. Here's the challenge, and I think a lot of people miss this, because everyone at our speed is looking for us to sell, for there to be some kind of M&A deal. And nobody believed us when we came out going, it's not going to happen. And so I've taken the time to better explain to people, we're the first African-American brand to do what we're doing. There is no one to sell to who's not white male.
Right.
That defeats the purpose.
Right.
That would absolutely defeat the purpose of what we have done, of bringing together this diverse group of people that are marketing to all of America. Nobody's really attempted to do this before. When you look at the demo of our team, it mirrors America. It's 50% men, 50% women. When you look at the population of race in our company, it mirrors America. The only place where we over-index based on population is African American, and how could we not? It's myself, the master blender, our director of marketing. So all of these different people, you really don't have a choice but to over-index there. And we under-index in Latinx, which bothers me, and I'm trying to figure out how to work that out. But for the most part, if you just go population to population of America, it looks a lot like Uncle Nearest. And so to have a company that's been built like this, that is marketing to all of America, we don't have a multicultural department. Our whole company is multicultural. And so to be able to do that and to have a table full of team members that look like the people who they are out in the marketplace selling to, nobody's attempted to do this before. And I love it. It's groundbreaking. And man, I hope we continue to have the success we're having so others come behind us and do the same exact thing.
Absolutely. Have there been talks of Uncle Nearest sort of acquiring smaller brands?
We have. We talk a lot about acquisitions. People are always confused because they think we want to be acquired. It's like, no. We want to acquire, but we do not want to be acquired. And so, yeah, no, it's rarely a month that goes by that we're not seriously looking at a prospect. But unfortunately, the majority of what's out there, again, is white male owned. And if it's not, it really has to step it up a notch before it's acquisition worthy. Otherwise, they're going to be selling it for so much less than what they could grow it to. So for us, I'd rather help to grow brands that are run by Blacks and people of color in general and women, and really help them to grow it into something so that it is acquirable at a rate that makes their work worth it. And so I'm, side by side right now with about 6 different Black-owned brands where we are just helping to take them from surviving to thriving. It's very rare that a day goes by where I'm not either on my email or on my phone helping another Black brand that I have no percentage in, nor do I plan to have any percentage in, but it's about creating more Uncle Nearest's in America. And right now we're the only one. And that should not be the case 2 years from now. I sure hope not. So we literally have paired up with Jack Daniels on the nonprofit side. And we are coming side by side with apprentices, with the business incubation program. It's the Nearest Green School of Distilling. So yeah, we're raising up a whole lot of people in this industry. And my hope is 40, 50 years from now, people will be looking at our industry and will have no idea that it was ever white male dominated.
I sure hope that's the case. I don't know if you know, but I came out with a list of over 70 Black-owned brands from various spirit categories. And before I even put the list together, I had no idea that there was that many out there. And so that's what I'm trying to do through these interviews, is just introducing people to the Black-owned brands that perhaps are not available on their shelves yet, but support them, buy online, and eventually one day they'll be there. So I love that.
Yeah.
You mentioned before when you started, you sort of hit the ground running because your Jack Daniels is down the road, and you didn't want to hear anything from them. Did it surprise you that they sort of embraced you and you're now working together?
No, it was the right thing to do. But we also have been very clear to handle everything that we've done with honor. And so even when there were times in their company where there were team members that clearly took it into their own hands to try to be a competitor with us and try to hinder and to impact what we were doing, we never changed what our goal was from day one. And that was raising up one legend without harming the legacy of another. And so I think that over time, they realized that we were who we said we were, and that we were not there to cause them any harm or their business any harm or Jack any harm, but we were there simply to raise up Nearest Green. And that was something that we should all be behind and something we should all be supportive of. So yeah, I was not surprised that they would eventually get there.
So I read that you and your husband were based in LA and then you moved to Tennessee. How has that transition impacted your marriage, and what's his take on everything? I read that you were a relationship author and blogger as well. So tell me how that looks.
Marriage was great before this. Marriage is great during it. Marriage will be great after it. So for us, it is never, our marriage is not based on anything external. Our marriage is completely based on what we have chosen in each other. And we take the time and we put in the effort, whether we're side by side or if we are at a distance. When we're at a distance, we talk to each other so many times a day, you would be hard pressed to think that, number one, we get any work done. And so it's better for us to be in the same place because at least we're not on the phone as much. But he and I are just really good friends. I'm his top confidant. He's my top confidant. And so when you look at that, and we both trust each other in business. And so that, for our marriage, that's always priority number one for us. That is what has to be whole before everything else. We will give up everything if it interferes with our marriage. And so I have a thing that I like to do on Sundays on Instagram and on Facebook on my stories, and it's just Sunday with the Weavers, where we literally are just chilling. because we both have high profile jobs, people are surprised to know we don't do jack on the Sabbath except barbecue, make cocktails, and sit back a little tipsy, having so much fun at home. And
Right.
this is what we do every single Sunday. And so we make our marriage is our priority number one. And out of that strength comes all of these other things that we're able to do and that we're able to achieve. So moving here wasn't actually that big of a deal. I've actually been in other places for other investments that we've had where I'll go and I'll lead the charge. And this was no different. The only difference here is I've always wanted to live in the South. Always. I've never been a California girl. I was born and raised, but never really fit. And every person who knows me there will be quick to tell you that I have never been an LA girl. I've never been that person who like puts on makeup to go to the grocery store. It just isn't me. And so no one was surprised when we moved here. Everyone's like, oh, well, we knew Fawn was born on the wrong side of the country. So, this makes sense.
Wow, that's amazing. So I just read that your second commercial, because I had one commercial with Jeffrey Wright last year, who I've loved and everything he plays in. But the second commercial involved your dad's music.
Yeah.
So it's sort of cementing those two legacies together. Your dad, who was a Motown singer and producer, and Nearest. Why was that important to you to have that marriage?
I wouldn't call it a marriage. My father was a teetotaler, so I think he wouldn't appreciate the marriage. No, it was. The reality is that you have this amazing record. It's the most rare Motown record there is. It is the world's most expensive vinyl to ever be sold. It literally cult classic is an understatement. For 40 something years, it sat at the top of the Northern Soul charts. Like nothing sits at the top of a chart that long. And so it was something that has been so huge overseas. And I thought it was time that America knew the history and the story behind that song. And you literally can't listen to that song and not dance and not feel happy and not feel good. And in this moment in time, I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing with these commercials. And it's like, we know that your business is closed and we know the times are hard. And we know, like, at some point, people want to just smile. And I felt like everybody else had cornered the sad commercial market. Now it was time for someone to come out with something that just made people smile, that just made people want to dance. And so, I'm super proud of that commercial.
Awesome. So let's talk about you a little bit. When you are not spearheading Uncle Nearest and your other business ventures, what do you like to do during your downtime?
Nothing. I don't know why people like to do stuff during their downtime. My favorite downtime is a downtime that includes nothing but food and cocktails and a whole lot of my husband. And we just chill. Yeah, I don't need to do nothing.
I am with you on that. What does self-care look like for you? Do you have any routines, or do you have to do something once a month, or
like in my normal day?
Yeah.
I've got a gazillion routines. So from 5 to 7 a.m., I do what's called Miracle Morning. So the acronym is SAVERS. It is silent. So that's my meditation. And then the A is for affirmations, V is for visualizations, E is exercise, R is reading, and S is scribing, which is essentially journaling. So from 5 o'clock to 6:30 every morning, that's where you can find me, is doing my SAVERS. And then I send a text message to my family saying SAVERS, check. And all my siblings are all on the text chain. And when they finish their SAVERS, they send me back a message going, I'm done. And we just kind of encourage people to meaning our family, set the goals, go after the goals, but start your day off centered. And then from 6:30 to 7:30, my husband and I have our Weaver coffee hour. We've been doing that forever and ever. Amen. At 7:30, we kind of give ourselves a pound, go Team Weaver, and we hit the ground running. And then 6 p.m., we're at the dinner table and we're having dinner together. And that's 6 to 7 p.m. every day. That is us together. And then after 7 o'clock, we usually get back to work.
Wow.
That is our everyday.
Yeah, no.
Except Sunday when we take the day off.
I need to get my mornings together. I feel like if I had some intentions in the morning, I would.
Oh yeah. The book, and I get all of my team members, when you come new into Uncle Nearest, you get a few different books from me. One of them, or two of them, is The Miracle Morning, and which is where Savers comes from, and Miracle Equation, which basically takes that and kind of kicks it up a notch to help you to be able to not only create big goals, but to execute on them.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to pick that up tonight.
They're great. They're great.
What advice would you give other Black spirit owners? Like if you could pick, one thing, or people who want to start their own brand?
Get your business plan together. Every single time I go, that every single Black brand that I've stepped out to help, one of the very first things that I have to help them with is a business plan. Because yes, there's the statistics of how difficult it is for us to raise capital. I can tell you it's been easier for me than any white man I know in this industry, but my business plan was solid day one. And so whenever I am talking to Black business owners, I was actually the keynote speaker for Goldman Sachs a week or so ago. And they were asking me, what is that thing that they can do personally, like each of them individually worldwide, to help Black owners? And I said, well, when you see a business plan hit your desk that you will reject because it's not one that is fund ready, do not just reject it. If you see that the founder is Black owned, remember that most of us are first generation entrepreneur, first generation money. And so we're figuring it out. And most of us don't know that there's literally companies that you pay to do your business plans. I've been working with the same person for 15 years to do my SWOT analysis, to do all the rest of that stuff. But most of us don't know that those people exist. And so I told them, I said, if you're looking to invest into a Black business just as a give back, not asking them for a percentage, none of that, you just want to come alongside them and help them, introduce them to someone who can do the business plan and pay for it. It changes everything. Your ability to capital raise when you have a solid business plan in deck is completely different than every single plan I've seen so far from every Black brand that I'm assisting.
Wow. I love that. And I think that's going to be the caption to my post.
Get your business plan together. Get that SWOT analysis done and make sure it is airtight.
Yes. Is there anything you would have done differently on your journey with Uncle Nearest?
No, I believe that everything that happens for a reason. It happens on purpose. And as long as you are following the path that you are supposed to be on, every single thing that hits that path, whether it's a rock, a stone, a hurdle, a pothole, whatever it is, it's all a part of that road you're supposed to be on. So no, zero regrets.
I love that. And I sort of live my life the same way. You can't regret, things that have happened. They've all led up to this point. So is legacy important to you? I mean, obviously it is, but what do you want your legacy to be with Uncle Nearest?
You're asking, is my personal legacy important?
Yes. Or
not for me. So I think everybody has different purposes in life, different things that really excite them, that get them going. Some people want to see their name on the side of a building. Some people want to, after they're gone, for people to remember who they are. I don't have that desire. When I move on to heaven, I assure you, it is so much better than here. I love it here, but the next place is so much better. So why would I care about what I leave here? What I do care about is that the first African-American master distiller on record in the United States goes into the history books, and it is cemented in my lifetime. That I care about. If I've done that checklist, done. I'm good.
Wow, I actually wasn't expecting you to answer it that way. That is actually really refreshing. From someone, who has started the fastest growing whiskey brand in United States history. That's amazing. What is next for Uncle Nearest?
The next is continuing to just literally pedal to the metal. We have we're in, 13,000 locations. There's hundreds of thousands of locations we are not in. And so we've got a lot of work to do just with the opportunities we have in front of us. So I know a lot of people like to hop on to the next thing and they get bored with where they are. I think we just continue to pound the rock. That is our number one thing. Actually, that's on every single one of our team members. Start off the day with our full focus planner, and at the bottom, pound the rock. Wow. And that is what we do every single day. Every day we pound the rock, and we understand that at some point that rock is going to crack. But it won't be that 101st crack at it that did it. It will really be all of the blows that came before it that really impacted it, that led to that number 101. And so that's the way we approach everything. Everything we do every day is just pounding the rock. And when it breaks, and then something magical will happen. And we're excited about that.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And where can people find you online?
UncleNearest.com. And if you go Instagram /Uncle Nearest, Facebook /Uncle Nearest, if you tag me, I will see. If you tag Fawn.Weaver on Instagram or Fawn Weaver on Facebook, on the Uncle Nearest page, on either, I will see it. And I can tell you, I'm usually on Instagram. Facebook takes me a little longer, but if you tag me in a post on Instagram, I'll see it, I'll respond, and that's generally how I connect with our whiskey family.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley.